everybody, Carrie here with
Hello.
Dawn. We are heading to yesterday's fits today to do a live whatnot auction. This video is going to kind of be a vlog of the process of us doing this auction that we are doing once a week on Thursdays now, right?
Yes.
We're doing it every Thursday, but before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about something that Dawn did this week. For the first time ever, she went on a live that wasn't our live. You went on Nurse Flipper's live. What did you think of it? Was it fun?
It was awesome. I liked it.
Was the stress and the worry worth it?
I was worried for nothing, but
Exactly. That's usually how it is.
I'm anti-social.
You're the anti-social one of the group?
Yeah.
I am definitely the social one. One thing I learned from doing theater, if you guys didn't know I was a theater kid, is that people are rooting for you to succeed. I think. I don't know. They might be rooting for you to fail, but sail. I don't know. You can see what's on my mind right now. We're going to do a whatnot sale right now with Jesse at yesterday's fits, and this is what, like the third or fourth week in a row we've been doing these co-lives with Jesse. We've learned over time that we want to, work with other interesting people in our field. I was following Jesse for a while on Instagram in particular. He has one of the hottest, vintage clothing stores in Las Vegas. All sorts of celebrities and athletes go into the shop and shop.
Oh, yeah.
I am by far the least cool person who ever sets foot in that shop.
I'm gonna agree.
Yeah, no, by far. It's like a great big divide between the next coolest and me. But I wanted to get involved and start doing shows with him because he has a lot of that credibility in the vintage clothing community, shoe community, toys. I want to start working with people that kind of inspire me and that make me want to do better. So we've been doing the live auctions with him and curating a better auction. I think that's something we've been focusing on a lot, is just having better quality items as consistently as humanly possible. But we did discuss whatnot a little bit on Nurse Flipper's live. Is eBay basically gonna start competing with whatnot? They're already starting to do the betas, if you guys are aware of this, the beta testing for eBay live auctions. They've had a couple celebrities come in and start doing it.
You were in one.
Yeah,
you went in one, a card one.
I went in one and watched. I want to do one. Hopefully I can get in and do the testing early. That would be dope. But I did go in one and it was wild. But there is so much power in doing one on eBay if it works. I mean, what do you think some of the main advantages of an eBay live over whatnot? What would be the main advantages?
So when we were talking about it on Nurse Flipper, is I feel that if eBay could be at the capacity with their abilities like whatnot, eBay would kick whatnot's butt any day of the week, because me and Carrie are talking about this. How many people have an eBay account? Out of 10 people, I would probably say 7.
Yep.
But how many people know what whatnot is? Nobody, because I get that all the time when I talk about...
In comparison, it probably wouldn't even be 1 out of 10 people in the world right now.
Also, eBay's open to everybody in the world. Whatnot, I don't think we're even selling to other countries, are we?
You can, but it costs a ton to ship,
so
which is understandable.
Has that advantage.
But eBay right now, like you have eBay, UK, eBay has their own infrastructure in every single country right now. And that's the one thing. I've talked to people, that are close with eBay and people within eBay, and eBay is just a giant company, so it's hard to get anything moved quickly on eBay. It's going to take time. But one thing I've thought a lot about, if there were live auctions that were like whatnot on eBay, imagine right now I have 2,800 listings. About 2,300
Your listings you already had up.
Already ready to go.
There.
Already up for sale. 2,300 are sports cards. Say at 7 p.m. I'm like, you know what? I want to do a quick live sports card auction. Just a quick live one. I could go in and I could be like, people, go look at my eBay store. Let me know what you want me to run. Like, I could pull stuff from the store and not maybe sell it at what their buy it now is, but I could start it. We could what do you guys think? You want to start this one at $1, at $5, at $10, whatever? And you could move through a lot of stuff and then it would also, eBay would become more of a social media thing than kind of like what whatnot is right now. We've gathered or garnered a few followers over the years through our social media on eBay. It probably doesn't mean as much as having the followers on whatnot at this moment, but in the future it really could be a much more social place, eBay in general. And I think that's the way of selling, whether people like it or not. Me and Dawn have talked a lot about adaptation in this business, right? I mean, what do you think is the biggest thing you've learned about adapting in business in the last 10 years we've been doing this?
You have to adapt or die, basically.
It's true. I mean, you have to adapt or you'll go out of business.
We've seen it so many times.
We've seen it so much. Like, there were shops when we started having tons of our shops. I don't know anybody, but actually there's a few people who still have small shops when we started, but almost everybody that started a small shop in Utah when we did together in 2015 is gone. Everybody in our building, there was like 7 or 8 different people in those couple of years.
Other people came and went.
Yeah, other people, several groups of people came and went, and then that whole building now isn't even for that anymore. And it was a giant like antique little hub for a couple years there. So things change, you have to adapt. For years, me and Dawn were doing Facebook. Before I started doing social media, before Dawn started doing her personal social media, we had our business page on Facebook, which we built up to like over 20,000 followers.
It's like
right?
I think in the heyday it was 25,000.
Yeah.
I still have that page and don't even use it.
I know, right? But Dawn would paint her furniture. Some of you guys remember the early days of the Instagram, Lady Arbitrage. She was mostly painting furniture. We would have a drop. Dawn would paint stuff all month. We'd gather stuff at garage sales, and she would have a drop, or what we called a scene.
Yeah.
And you would have like 15, 20 pictures, every scene, a different piece of furniture, different little cool things like globes or whatever. And we would make thousands. But we did a lot of stuff, a lot of adapting that other companies weren't willing to do.
Which was the free delivery.
Yeah, that's something it's not like a new idea, but starting in 2015, we delivered any item, a $5 item, a $100 item for free, all the way to Evanston, which sometimes we lost money.
Came down here.
But it was about the principle. And then we, over time, we ended up going all the way to Vegas for free for any item. Of course, we planned it where we had a bunch of deliveries, so it was worth it. And also, Dawn was visiting her dad down here, so we just figured we'd work it around a family trip. So there's so many ways you can...
Tax write-off.
Yeah, it was a tax write-off. That's another thing. It was a tax write-off. So Whatnot to me is just... Here's the thing, whether Whatnot survives, I know we're getting like deep into the weeds here, but whether Whatnot or let's put it this way, whether Whatnot survives or not, online live sales are here to stay.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe eBay will be doing them, maybe it'll be Poshmark that takes over, maybe Whatnot comes and goes, because, in 2002, 2003, Friendster started, MySpace started.
What is that? I've never heard
Friendster was like Facebook or social media before, Instagram and everything.
MySpace?
Yeah, MySpace. They're all gone. But social media is still relatively, it's grown, but it's the same concept. You have connections with other people from around the world, whether they're your friends or people you've met and become friends with online. So I feel like it definitely is worth your time to learn more about Whatnot. Whether you buy or not is another question, or sell or not. I think everybody should try buying something. That's not just because it could benefit us.
Well, but it's also a great way to source.
It is. No, honestly. Not just from us. I think people get great deals from us all the time, but just anybody. I can go on any random time on Whatnot, any random time, for cards especially, and I can find deals.
Now, let me tell you one thing. We're also talking about this, and this gets into whether you're buying or selling. If I go on and I'm in somebody's live auction and I'm getting stuff for $1 or $2, believe me, that's not good for them, because they probably have no following, they're new to it and everything else. Which leads us to when people start Whatnot. This was another discussion we had with our slipper, is whether or not you should have a following. She kind of disagreed and said you don't need a following, but I'll tell you right now, if you're somebody brand new and you're just starting, your first couple of auctions aren't going to do well. You have to be consistent. You have to build a following on Whatnot, which is the same thing.
This could be like trash to cash. I'm going to interrupt. There are people who only have Whatnot followings, though, that aren't on social media anywhere else, because they've been consistent, because they have decent items. But yeah, the first couple auctions are going to be super tough. Maybe you need to insulate yourself risk-wise by making sure you start items at certain prices so that they're not...
The problem, though, is because I've gone into them several times. I've gone into new people's that are selling. They have 11 people in there. They're getting $2, and if anything's higher than that, nobody's buying it. Now,
but you know this. All it takes is two items, two people to make a good auction. All it takes is two people that are interested.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt and I'm going to interject here. The thing is I can't remember where. Gosh, what is it?
It was going to be epic, guys. She was going to burn me. She was going to make me look foolish. I guarantee it.
We were just talking about it.
Whatnot?
Yes. Gosh dang it.
Okay, Dawn thought of what she was thinking.
I think the problem is, we have literally done live auctions for years, and we've done online auctions, and we've been to live auctions and online auctions. Most people think if they're going to put stuff in the auction, or if they're doing a live auction themselves, is that the people that come to the auctions are collectors. That is so far from the truth. I would say 80% of people that are in an auction are resellers. So, and I've seen this in live auctions that we've hosted for years. I would say that is completely a true statement. So no, they are not going to pay $10 for a shirt they can get on eBay for $10 or $15. Most people who buy at auctions want to resell it. They're looking for a deal. So you're not going to be able to fetch it. Now, sometimes your item that's really like a random thing that you're blown away, it starts at $1, and all of a sudden it's selling for 15, and it's kind of not even really worth 15 because that's happened before. It's just because they're getting it a bit more, probably I would say because they want it for themselves. That's kind of how you know they want it for themselves, is they're willing to pay for it. But you can't go into I say whatnot, thinking collectors are going to come into your auction and they're going to pay top dollar, because I don't think they are.
Not in general. I think this is the same thing that thrift stores have a problem with when they're trying to get eBay prices at their thrift stores. They're thinking that these collectors that are, or the people who need the items on eBay that are paying top dollar, are going to somehow walk in to the thrift store, right, and randomly go, oh man, I love, Ghostbuster action figures, and I happen to find one and I'm willing to pay eBay prices. That's just not the case. Most of the people at thrift stores, most of the people on whatnot are
resellers.
Well, at least a lot of them are, especially, are resellers. But, it's good. You want to build over time and hopefully start to get more and more collectors. But the backbone, the bread and butter of every auction on whatnot is going to be resellers. So you have to look at it like, okay, I found an item that might be worth 50 on eBay, and then I wouldn't really expect much more than 20 or 25 if you're lucky.
Oh, you'd be lucky.
And just like anything in this business, you make the money on the buy. Hopefully we're getting a ton of stuff at the bins. We're separating a little bit for eBay to hedge our bets, and then we're moving a lot of it through at a profit, but less of a profit on whatnot. Whatnot is tough, guys. Whatnot is not easy. It's something that's going to take a little bit of time, but I think it's worth the investment. It's worth your time. It's worth the grind, and I would at least give it a couple months of consistent auction. Okay, we're gonna get off our soapbox now. We're almost at Jesse's. We're gonna show you kind of the setup there. We're gonna show you the setup at the auction that we're doing at Jesse's shop, kind of show you what we're selling, some of our thoughts, some of our philosophies, which has changed over time.
Oh, yeah.
I went from the $1 auctions to the $2 starts. Now we're starting to sprinkle in some $5, $10, and we're gonna continue to go up. We're going to still be a majority of $2 stuff, always.
Oh, it's going to always be about 75%.
But we're going to try, because from doing auctions before, you kind of want to set those bars to see if people will accept them and start to pay a little bit more. If the $50 item, you better believe it's going to be $100 plus on eBay. So it's flippable, or it's a great deal if you want it for yourself. So stay tuned. We're going to be at Jesse's in a second. You can see our setup. So you're saying this was from what, 1959?
1959, yeah. Elvis postcard, unused. So I think we're starting at 25 or 30, and then sales on it are 45, 50, 60 bucks. So
that's
a
awesome.
Cool piece.
That is really cool. The thing I loved was these. Are these
those are vintage, yeah.
Street Fighter?
Yep, 1998.
Dude, we got
this one's cool
Ken.
too.
Yeah, I don't even know who that dude is.
Look at that action.
These are nice. I know the old G.I. Joe ones do really well.
Yeah.
I had some on the card back in the day. I got them for like $10 a piece on Facebook, and they were like $100 each all day. And they probably went up since then.
I'll say these
After he sold them to you, he was mad. I remember.
Yeah, he wouldn't. He had more, but he wouldn't go down on the price because he's like, I looked him up on eBay. I'm like, you should have done that to begin with, and then sold them on eBay. That's the best spot to sell stuff.
Exactly.
Not on Facebook to a random guy in a Target parking lot. You're not going to get as much. You're not going to get as much money.
Not going to get as much. But yeah, I think these are probably my favorite pieces today of my stuff. They're brand new.
2000 or 2001?
2000 and 2001, yeah.
So this is back when they were still only using the book art.
Yep.
They hadn't even done the movie yet. Those are nice. Where'd you get those?
Kobe Swap Meet.
Kobe Swap Meet in California?
San Diego,
Oh, San Diego? Awesome.
Some cool stuff.
It's cool. Like most of the stuff in the auction from both of us is bin stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of like a big part of what we're doing. You can't really lose if you're paying pennies on the dollar for stuff. If stuff doesn't sell, you could, even at some point, get rid of it if you can't sell it on eBay. But most of the stuff we get is also very sellable on eBay. So, that is cool. Brand new with the tag, too.
Yeah, I think every piece of clothing and every plush today for me is from the bins. There's, like I said, a couple of the toys and stuff I got at the swap meet, but yeah.
Nice. You're admiring that too now? Isn't that weird?
These are micro machines,
I think they're micro machines, yeah.
and some of them might be worth more.
Some of the
Some of them, you're right, yeah. Do you know which ones are the valuable ones? Offhands.
exams are.
Military one for sure should be.
Yeah, we had that up on eBay for quite a bit of
No, I
money.
never put
We
it.
never. Oh, we looked and it was worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
Ferrari.
The jacket's about 125, 150.
Nice. We'll see how it does in the auction. That's the fun of it. We never know. We never know how things are going to go. Typically with an auction, the things you think that are going to go for a lot of money don't, or some of them don't. And some things you're like not thinking are going to go for much money, they end up going for a bit. And that's the fun of the auction. If you kind of have a total number, what you think you might get, it usually gets close to that.
Oh, yeah.
But how you get there is different every time. Yeah, Don's going to start this one a little bit higher.
Both of those are 50.
I think, are these micro machines, Don? Or?
Wow. So
Some
this is a
company
custom
did it,
jacket?
yeah. I think it's a
Look up
company that did it.
Okay.
She's an artist.
We got some major sun coming through the window right now, guys.
This is awesome.
This is our whole setup
Their
right
shoulder
here, though,
pads
guys.
come out,
We're
too. They got Velcro.
check out Jesse's shop. Say hi, Jesse.
Howdy.
Jesse from yesterday's fits. The whole crew over here. How are you guys doing? Good. We're getting ready to do our live here in a couple minutes. We're going to try to go through all these. This is the goal, or the key. Try to get through this as much as humanly possible. Do 15-second auctions. Most of this stuff will be $2 starts, and we're going to mix in some other stuff like I talked about. But yeah, lots of clothing. Jesse's the clothing guy, though, as you can tell from the shop.
That's what they do.
Is this Jerry Rice?
Cool.
So what, you sold one item you said that was super expensive? Which
Yeah,
one
so
was it?
The Elvis postcard that we were talking about sold for 30, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, 30 bucks. And then VHSs sold for like
20 and then some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we.
The
I was happy with
VHS
it.
did way better than I thought.
So that's kind of part of our plan with Whatnot, right? Is we're going to do majority
Test stuff.
$2 stuff is always going to be the majority of the stuff, but we're going to start throwing in some stuff at a little higher pre-bid or higher start, basically.
Right.
And a few of them worked.
Yeah.
Quite a few didn't, but a few of them worked. And I think if you can mix in like a few high dollar items
Yes.
Yeah.
that you're giving to people for lower than what you'd get on eBay by a
Oh,
bit,
for sure, yeah.
but you can move the stuff a little quicker, it's going to open up Whatnot
Well, and it
a
drew-
lot.
It drew a lot of attention too. Like people, even though they didn't bid, they were super excited about.
Yeah,
it.
like the comic. You had the 1981 Comic Con program. Nobody bid on that, but everybody was like,
There
"Oh,
was
that's
a
so
lot of
cool."
conversation.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's creating conversation and buzz and they know that we're going to have quality items in
Also,
the auction.
they got good deals too, like that Mercedes hoodie or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a $50 item somebody got for 11.
yeah, 11.
It's all.
Yeah, it's good when Jesse's like, "Oh man, you should have brought this
thought
to me
about
before
bidding.
the auction. I would have
Yeah.
bought it from
Yeah.
you."
No, it was a cool piece.
That's awesome, man. So we had a pretty good auction. I'll let you guys know what the total ended up being. Probably wasn't our best auction we've had here, but every auction's different. Some go really well. Some are pretty solid like this one. And sometimes you just have some that don't do great. And that's part of the business, guys. Here we are back in the eBay Thunderdome. The auction was yesterday. It was an average auction. Not super spectacular, but also not terrible. We definitely had worse. It was right there in the middle. And that was how the auction went. Every auction is different. Auctions are unpredictable. That's just kind of how they are. I do want to mention this before I sign off with you guys. We have a lot of shipping to do. And if you do ship quite a bit like us, you can get your supplies at Supply Hut. Yes, I'm doing a plug. I am the new Commonwealth picker, guys, the new Commonwealth flipper. I have a Supply Hut link. He does too, but I also have one. So if you need to get some tape, some packing paper, some boxes, whatever you need supply-wise, go check out supplyhut.com. You can use my code and my link, which will be down below. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is something different. I'd like to do more of these Whatnot-centric, kind of like auction-style videos, because this is a big part of what we do. Let me know your feedback on that, and I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.